You're listening to Funny Peculiar with Jeff Downs.
Welcome to another episode of Funny Peculiar Podcast, and on my travels I come across all wonderful acts, and no exception today, and this is coming from Tatcon 2018, where I've come across two wonderful performers, multi-skilled performers, because we were chatting about getting the ident right, and it's Natalie Goode and Danielle Whitehead. Hello.
Hello.
Hey.
So that's, and I'll just, Natalie, hello.
Hi, how are we?
And that's Danielle.
Hello.
And yes, you're multi-skilled performers, and I've seen you did a fire act yesterday, but you do, amongst other things, stilt walking. You do the fire act, fire breathing, and to sort of basically describe it was, it was just huge. There was at one point, what was the at the end you had like sort of poles that spray out.
Volcanes.
Volcanes.
Yeah.
And are they like loaded with the fuel inside?
It's like a powder, so it's actually a natural plant extract, and as it hits the flame it combusts, doesn't it? It makes a massive trail of fire.
And that looked like, because I saw at one point, I think you were saying to one of you were going step away.
There was a photographer right next to me, and obviously using it, you know how big the flame's going to be, and he stood right next to the stage, and I'm trying to get his attention to just be like, you need to move away, and he was standing there, and I was like, you know what, if your camera gets ruined in this, that's not my problem anymore. I warned you. But he stepped back and everything.
And with being five performers, is that a problem that people want to get close, and you've got to try and say?
So many times, like, you'll be doing a performance or something, and someone will try and sneak in a photo or a selfie, and you don't see them, or
like there's
no common sense.
Yeah, like obviously you do street art and you cordon off an area when you're on the streets, and there's always like security around, and like to make sure that people stay away. But there's always one drunk idiot that's not paying attention, or they think they're being funny, and they just. You're spinning fire at the end of the day. It's hot. Yeah. It's gonna hurt if you get touched by it. And they just come up so close to you, and can I have a go? And you're just like you just stood there trying to, or like you're stood there holding it out the way, just like can you just please step back for a moment?
So doing it on the stage here is just it's so nice, isn't it? Because you just got all the space. No one's gonna run on stage.
Well, yeah, you don't for a moment think that anybody's gonna get up on stage, and at least if they try to,
they'll hopefully get stopped.
Well, yeah, before they'd even make it.
So you prefer that being on a stage and everything, because you've got that barrier immediately.
But no, not even that. Like doing it to the music, to an audience, having the space, not worrying about it's so much better. It's a show. It's more of a show.
Yeah. Just having freedom and space to do something big. Yeah. It's just really nice.
And with it being indoors, it's fine, but it's got to be well vented, or so.
Yeah. So indoors, obviously, you need the height, you need the space, ventilation. So there are
no air conditioning on.
Yeah. So even the smoke
no aircon.
Yeah.
What is that? Because why is that? Because it could.
Well, it's actually bad for the air conditioning to start with, but also like if there's a breeze or something, so you're fire breathing, it can blow back. So fire eating, it can blow the wrong way.
Yeah, I've had it before, even with something as simple as body burning.
Yeah.
And like they've put the aircon on at the most stupidest moment, and I burnt myself purely because the aircon is just blowing the fire back on me.
Even if someone opens a door sometimes, just a random extra gust of wind.
Yeah.
Really, it's that sensitive, and so
depends how close you are.
Right, but effectively, when you are doing that particular stunt, you want the flame to be going vertical and doing what still as possible.
I some things I don't think people get is like when you're performing outside, especially, you're having to factor in so many things whilst you're actually.
So sorry, it's you've got to have it very still.
You're factoring in like the people around you, the space, and then you're constantly checking the wind direction. So as you're doing things, you're just having to be very aware of everything around you. It's not as simple as just holding an equipment with a flame on it and swinging it around.
And so, and when you do outside, because I've looked on your Instagram account, and I'll make sure I tag all the Instagram accounts and to follow Natalie and Danielle. And you were outside, and recently I was in Oldham, and there was a big circus festival, but the wind was crazy, and the unicyclists were having problems, the jugglers.
If it's that bad, you just have to. You can do obviously your props and your more skill based, but stuff like fire eating and breathing, you just have to sort of be like, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
because if it's like catching your eyelashes or like burning your lips, your hair.
And you're not wearing any protective gel, nothing.
No, it's saliva is the best protection, basically. You don't put anything on; it's bare skin.
And I think one fire eater I spoke to, she sort of like, again, keep your hair back, keep it tied up. There's nothing more.
Just keep it off your face. So I wear it down sometimes more for club work because it's not as, but always like quiff it out of the way. Yeah. But stage shows and stuff, when we're doing a lot of props and choreography, you just want it tied back completely out of the way.
And let's go back to how you first met, because you run other events with more girls, but so far you two seem to be a duo, and you do this stilt walking.
That just sort of happens, isn't it?
Yeah,
we just sort of get put together.
Coincidence at the moment. We just seem to be doing a lot of jobs together, so we've been doing a lot more.
Right,
yeah, we do work well together. So we're
When
quite
did it all start?
skill.
When did you first meet each other? Sort of a year ago, 2 years?
Oh, it's a couple of good few years ago, isn't it?
Years ago now. As I say, most people,
five years,
so many people like in this industry, like you've been working together for so long, and it is like it could have been we met 5 years ago on one job, and then maybe not even seen or spoken to each other for like 6 months or a year, and you just build and start.
But have you both got a love of a particular performance, like fire? That seems to connect you. Or...
well, we do a lot of other things together, don't we?
Yeah.
Go on, what's your other?
So like last night we had to do a wax show together.
Yeah.
A wax show.
Yeah.
What's that entail?
So basically, Danielle blindfolded me and poured wax on me.
Okay.
In quite a seductive way.
Yeah, very seductive.
That's cool. I've seen that because that's in fetish events.
Yeah.
That's very popular, actually. That's cool.
A very popular one we do is like a milk show. So again, it's dancing quite provocatively with one another, pouring milk. Everyone and sharing milk from each other's mouths.
Yeah.
So we end up having to do a lot of stuff like that at the moment together. But I think we just work quite well on stage with each other.
I think we both follow each other's directions very well, which means we don't get carried away into it seems to be, even if a show's put together last minute, it still looks quite structured rather than kind of just thrown together.
And before you did this type of performance, have you always done this, or were you at college, or was something completely different?
Well, I've come from a fashion and textile background, but I used to do gymnastics years ago.
Right, okay.
But I actually do costuming. That was my main job before I got into performing, but obviously then that helped with my performing, but I was also a pole dance and aerial instructor.
Okay, cool.
So it's all led and built to this.
Yeah.
And now I just do this full time.
And do you make a lot of your costume? I mean, you're sitting here today.
Yeah, all of this we've made.
Brilliant.
So all, the costume just so made. So that's one of my main sort of selling points is I can provide such bespoke different costumes that you can't buy off the shelf.
Yeah.
No one else will have them.
Because if you went to someone to say, mate, that would be truly expensive, and you're getting into a lot of money.
Yeah.
And so you do you then, in a sort of fashion situation, will you start with sketch drawings?
Yeah,
Is that how
sometimes I sketch them, or I get ideas from other, things off Instagram, like other shops, and you sit there, and I do tend to doodle, but sometimes I just start making something and see where it goes. But yeah, so I tend to make... It depends what I feel like. My thing, sometimes it will change. Sometimes I'll like to do stuff like this, which are very, I don't know, military, and then I'll do something really girly, or then I'll do it just changes.
A lot of your feather work is incredible. Like your
feather backpacks, headdresses.
Well, so the couple of the costumes yesterday, which I love, with the wings, the steampunk. And the wings, and how long did it take did you build those wings?
Yeah, it didn't actually take that long. It's not, because obviously in the week I dedicate, if I've not got gigs in the week, I dedicate it to costuming. Yeah. So they won't take more than a week to have done that. But it's normally quite last minute and I'm rushed, so I have to get it done. There's a deadline, and 2 days before they've got to go out, I'm up all hours.
There's nothing like a deadline to get things done.
It's a deadline, and it makes you get it done, doesn't it? So.
And will you chip in with ideas, Danielle, or you?
No. All of Natalie's costumes are all Natalie's own.
And when
designs.
she presents, this is what.
Whenever she comes and say if I'm working for Natalie or with Natalie. I'm always in awe of everything she pulls out.
Yeah.
She's a very, very talented costume designer. Very talented.
Amazing. And I was looking at the Instagram account, and do check out, again, I'll give it at the beginning of the podcast on the details. There was these LED heads, and we were talking about, and it's a very sort of futuristic look.
Yeah.
So how long did they take to make or build?
I think they turned around in 2 or 3 weeks. It was basically me and my friend Andy Wakeford, who their agency is they're like LED specialists, and they're amazing at what they do. And whenever I've got anything LED based, I'll go to them. And I just took it to them, and they were like, yeah, we'd love to be involved, we'd love to get, because obviously they love to use them as well. So they actually book those costumes out quite a lot. But yeah, they were sort of accidental how they've turned out, and they've turned out better than what I could expect.
Yeah.
Because we bought the LEDs to test, we bought a few different types, and we just wrapped them around obviously the head, and the patterns came out of nowhere.
Okay.
Because when the LEDs are laid flat, they don't create those patterns.
Right,
but how
okay.
we'd put them on the head itself created all these intricate patterns, and that actually was just such a great mistake, a great accident.
And it is. It's sometimes like a happy accident. Because I think so you've done those sort of designs. So, Danielle, kind of, what was your sort of journey into this?
So from a young age, I always wanted to be a dancer, but came from a family where I could never really afford dance lessons. So it's a lot of watching Michael Jackson and teaching myself how to dance in the living room. And so for about 14, I was in like the odd dance shows. Did a few shows in the West End.
Okay, which shows were you in?
They were just like. One of them was Young Performers, the other one was Star Effects. They were all just like variety shows for young performers, but that's from like the age of 14. And then from 17, I was teaching dance. 18, I was doing cabaret shows. And then when I was about 19, I just stopped. I gave everything up, didn't do anything. That was it. Like, I was in a relationship where his family thought I should get an education, so I stopped and I went to university and did my degree in events management. At the same time, started running a live music venue. And then when I was about 24, started modelling, and my agent at the time asked, do you dance? And I was like, well, I used to years ago. So from about 24, I started dancing again, but at this point I was already quite heavily tattooed, and nobody really wanted a tattooed dancer. So then I just kind of thought, well,
Well, that, and just because we're at Tatcon today, and because you do both have you've got tattoos on your arms, and so modelling is with modelling, is it frowned upon then?
Well, I went into the alternative modelling scene.
Yeah, there's different niches.
Yeah, there's different niches. So mine was kind of fashion and glamour, but obviously for the alternative market, because at the end of the day, alternative people aren't bothered about looking at Kate Moss or Naomi Campbell. They want to see the more grungy Brody Dolls and Courtney Loves, or like they just want something that suits them. And so I kind of appealed to that kind of market. But I went from there to dancing, and then just kind of thought, well, what else can I do? And I had a very good friend, Eve L.
Okay.
She was who actually we performed last year with me.
And Eve and her family come from a very strong circus background, and so I just started training with Eve a lot.
Okay.
And
was that sort of circus skills stuff?
Yeah, like circus skills, like fakir.
What's fakir? Because I've heard that word being...
Okay, so fakir is like, I do like self-piercing, stapling, eyeglass, and then, you know, there's the blockhead side of things where you do the nail in the nose and the glass walking. I don't do those ones. Mine is more just the stapling, the wax, the piercing, glass eating, bed of nails, that kind of thing. So yeah, they taught me how to do that, like, safely. And then the fire, and obviously with dance, fire just became quite natural, like the movement with it. And then my career, I think, kind of just started from 24. It just kind of happened. I thought I was too old to get back into it. I mean, I'm 30 next week.
We're both. Wow, I'm nearly 31.
Yeah. So I thought at the time, I'm too old, it's never going to happen. And now here I am. It's been my full-time job for countless number of years, and
I feel like it's
a blessing.
We're just so busy. I feel like it just doesn't stop.
And what drives you and I suppose being the self-employment thing, that you just live by each gig every day?
You're normally like booked up. You normally have bookings a couple of months in advance, so you can always see where you are and what you're doing. But I think the drive for it is I love to do it.
Yeah, like, I don't think you could do this job if you don't enjoy it.
Yeah.
I don't think you actually could.
you know, it's great as a job, it's great we get paid for it, but I think the enjoyment and the love for what we do is what really
and there's a performance element of it, and you do the stilt walking as well.
Yeah.
And we were just talking about people just want to. I mean, I saw you earlier, and you just there we are. People stop in their tracks and just want a photo. So it's that's got to feel great, isn't it? And you've designed the costumes.
Yeah, it's nice when people actually come over and say they want a photo.
Yeah, I think most performers will say it's, to some degree, we're all attention whores.
Yeah.
And that's why we love what we do, because
attention.
we're getting attention. Like, people stop us for pictures, we're getting attention.
You wouldn't want to do it if you didn't want.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's where it is. Like, we just want attention. We love the attention. Like, we're not
We like to dress up.
Yeah,
we like to.
And it's nice to play different characters and meet different people from different walks of life. And you never know what job you're going to. Like, here we're at like Tatcon, and it's all about tattoos and like kind of an alternative lifestyle. There's a lot of rock music.
And you could be at a corporate event where you're in a massive ball gown type stilt outfit.
Yeah.
Well, you've got one of your costumes, and I thought it was absolutely amazing, was the butterfly.
Yeah, the giant butterflies.
The giant butterflies, because it was like, and so let's just talk about the stilt. How long does it take to learn to do the stilt walking? Because is it
different for
It's
everybody.
different, yeah, for everybody. I think it just depends on you as a person, and it's not even just like you could learn to walk on stilts easy in stairs and slopes. It's being around people.
right?
Yeah.
So when you're in the middle of a busy dance floor full of drunk people, there's drinks and limes and bottles everywhere.
right.
It's
There's
stuff like that.
glow sticks on the floor.
So have you slipped and trodden a few beer cans? And
Do you know what? The only time I've actually properly fell was here last year, and I fell on nothing. I slipped and I went in front of the stage, and I don't even know what happened. So in nearly 10 years of performing,
really, you were,
and it was just like someone had scooped my leg from underneath me, and I just went.
So someone had actually purposely knocked your leg out?
No, there was no one there. I slipped
just,
on.
Fresh air.
Fresh air, yeah.
One of those complete freak acts.
Luckily, it was like 10 a.m, so no one was really here, so it was fine.
And they are, how tall are the stilts? Are they like
It
3
depends.
feet, 4 feet? Those ones.
We always put them on the highest they can go.
Okay.
Well, no, not really. On mine, they're the highest.
Yeah,
the little
on
ones.
mine they're like 4 holes
So
up.
about half what they can go.
So so you
So
adjust
it's
it.
like an extra 2.5, 3 foot,
Yeah.
if not more. 3 foot
3 foot tall.
that's been added on.
Yeah,
So,
if not 3.5.
Now you know what it's like to be my height.
Yeah,
It's just
exactly.
like, when I get my heels on, I'm
Yeah,
coming
you
in.
with heels have got to be like us on
Well,
stilts.
So that's about 6 foot
I've
10.
been quite fortunate, touch wood.
You
I've
being
not
from-
had an accident yet.
And is there any? Can you be trained to if you do fall? Or
All
it's
I
just
got
like,
told was to fall on your side and like sort of fetal position, because you just don't want to put your arms out, you don't want to go on
Yeah.
your knees.
Don't want to fall on your coccyx.
Yeah,
Right,
so
right.
literally like this is probably the safest area.
The fattiest.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. And
But I got straight back up and carried
You were
on.
fine, you
It's
were
fine.
fine.
Nothing was damaged.
The majority of people that I know that have fallen off have never really badly hurt themselves. I think
Yeah.
it's just a bit more of it. Falling from a
Yeah.
height, I think you're just a bit more fearful.
I mean, you have people constantly trying to push you over
All the time.
in like club like scenarios and stuff.
And this is an element of the work that you enjoyed today. Was great you have a stage, but yeah, when you're in amongst sort of the public and
Yeah.
drunk people, and what are the problems that are arising then? So
Just people trying to push you over is the main one on stilts.
Friends showing off in front of friends.
Yeah.
But then you also have to face facts. Not everybody's going to love you. Not everybody's going to appreciate what you do.
yeah.
Some people are going to feel threatened. Some people are scared of us. Some people are
Some
scared
people
of
are
us.
actually
Well,
scared.
have you had people back who are not
Yeah,
sure what's
literally,
going?
like a girl's gone on a fetal position on the floor crying because she's that scared of us. I don't know if it was attention seeking, but it actually seemed quite real.
Right. Okay. That's a
Yeah,
strange.
but some people
But
like
in those instances, like people do silly things
Yeah.
and
it's girls as well. Sometimes
Oh,
they just
girls
don't want the attention taken away from them.
yeah,
Right.
I think. Whereas guys can be silly because they want
won't
to
ever
show
do
off, they don't
anything.
actually do anything. Whereas girls can be quite vicious. I think it's the what.
Like you'll get more girls smacking your ass
than you do guys.
Really?
Than guys. Guys don't really touch you that much.
Yeah, I
some do.
I think we live in a society now where it's constantly rammed in that if guys do something, it's wrong, but nobody ever says anything. If a girl does something, it's not.
Because this is something now that, and it's in the press, and especially the campaign about especially the Hollywood scandals going on, and that. And I've read now cases that more women are coming out that, I think there was a woman on a dance floor and this guy touched her and she punched him quite legitimately.
She would have probably got thrown out.
And so, but it's now been a positive story that she had to do it. And he actually sort of like went away, sort of. He was like apologetic, but he'd done it and he didn't know why. So if you get that now, are you sort of calling it out? Are you being more strident with it?
Yeah, I don't really put it with it when I'm on stilts in a club. I will turn around and I've smacked people in the face for it.
Yeah.
Because it depends how vicious they are. If you turn around and they're like quite jokey, but I don't know, it depends on the person and how they've done it and what mood I'm in.
It's difficult with this situation.
It's difficult because they shouldn't be able to do it anyway.
Quite exactly.
Like just because, we are obviously out there with our bums at head high, normally little leotards on or something, but it still shouldn't be.
Is it to do and sometimes when I do comedy, it's that, and with heckling, and it's that tribal element, it's that pack mentality, isn't it? And because they're with other mates,
they want to show off and they egg them on, but I think because they don't see us as the same as normal girls, do they? They think it's okay.
Yeah.
Like
it's almost like, your performance, that's okay then. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. It's definitely, it's not okay at all. Like we don't ask. That's not what we're doing. That's not on our job description.
Well, quite. And you are performing, and no other performance would tolerate that, and neither should you. And of course you. But it's difficult. So, and with the, and you've done the stilt walking, and what other sort of elements? We talked about the firework that you do, and just briefly on that. And I'm just remembering yesterday the heat that was coming off. And I was saying to Johnny, I said, bloody hell, that was hot, and I was 10 feet away and could feel it.
Yeah.
Now it's right next to you. How do you? You've obviously
have
you just built up a toleration?
Yeah, I think obviously you get off stage and you are sweating.
But you don't feel it when you're doing it.
Yeah.
And actually, when you were doing the ball, the chains with the ball,
Poi.
What are they called?
Poi.
Sorry, got to get it right. Balls, poise, and then there was kind of spray coming off those.
Oh yeah, we were sort of rushing to get ready. So today there wasn't as much.
Yeah, but there was no spray off them today.
Yeah, we didn't fully get rid of the excess paraffin.
Oh, I see,
so
right.
It was a bit of a rush yesterday, a bit manic to get on
great.
stage. But today we had plenty of time to get ready today.
So no, it was, and again, it's that smell after, when a fire performance being on. It's
I think that is every performer's odour. Is odour paraffin.
Yeah. We don't really smell it anymore, do we?
Well, I say you become desensitised to the point.
Like my car must reek to everybody else.
I've had it before where people have got in my car and been like, oh my god, Danielle, it's so bad, how do you deal with this? And I'm like, what are you on about? It smells like vanilla. I can smell my air freshener.
But you also do the aerial work as well.
Yeah, so I do aerial.
That's Natalie. No, I don't. I would never.
You dabble.
Would you like to do aerial, do you think?
She's dabbled.
I like to play around with it, but I am nowhere near good enough to perform it. There are way more superior performers in the industry that specialise.
But just to go back quick, you did cabaret when you were starting off as well, which is, and so there's a massive performance element to cabaret.
You get to do that again, don't you?
Yeah.
Like one of the venues that we do now.
Yeah, I used to work with drag queens and do big cabaret shows with them, which was really good. I was one of the choreographers and performers in it, and that was quite. So
it's almost like it's a bit of a full circle for you that you can employ some of that choreography and bits that you do. Yeah,
it's always great creating your own content and then seeing a show come to life. it's really good. But yeah, go back to area, like Natalie is really good, and some of the props that Natalie has as
I've
well
got some
are
quite unique props.
What sort of
so
props
good.
have you got?
So like my newest one is a crescent moon, but it's like a three-dimensional one. So I don't think anyone else has got one that shape in the UK that I know of.
And this is a little suspended from the ceiling, so we're talking about how far off the ground will you be?
It depends on the venue, depends, like, so I haven't really done anywhere with it where it's been really high up yet. It's normally just sort of been like just reaching distance,
right,
so like
okay.
I have to stand on a table or something.
Yeah.
It's not been massively high, but like, so silks and stuff you've done up to like 10 metres up in the air.
So yeah, there's the giant, there's the
you've
hoop,
got silks, I've
yeah.
got a moon, I've got a cube, which I don't really use, to be honest. I've got a pixel aerial hoop, which again is like the heads, it spins and creates pictures. But again, it's just finding the time to do it all, because it doesn't.
Also finding the clients that want
it and will pay for it.
Well, I take it you're going with what the clients are booking, and what do you find? What's the most popular?
Stilts.
But they must be at a festival outdoor. That must be great to do with the kids about.
You get the best view of the bands anyway.
Oh,
God,
There's a lot of perks to it as well. You tend to find if you're, say, working at a festival or this, that and the other, if you don't want to get too crushed in a crowd, you do get the perks. You get to stand next to the stage or in front of the stage, and you get to go to all these little areas that other people don't get to go to, and even camping at a festival, you just get
toilet
much better
situations,
camping, you get showers, and so you have all these little extra perks to. Yeah. And then you get to be at the festival and
you get to see bands and whoever's on.
Like,
so
you're working for a minimal amount of time, so you get to go and enjoy it like everybody else.
There are good perks with the job.
Yeah.
And then how do you keep sort of fresh with new looks, new stunts? What are you looking at other performers all the time, or are you just chatting with each other, or?
Social media is something, isn't it? Like you'll just sit and scroll on Instagram. Like I follow a lot of American agencies and performers, and you'll see ideas and you'll see new concepts, and it's just trying to keep it fresh and stuff.
Again, you tend to find as well, especially with the performance aspect. Like I said, the performance industry, you are a very close knit group of people. And very often you'll get together and train together, and you're all very supportive and complimentary, and you all help one another to grow and trade like different moves or like techniques. And so you just, for as much as you're all in competition because you all want the work and you all need the work, at the same time you all love each other and want you to succeed and do better and be better. And so it's just great, like the community spirit that you have.
And there is, because I must admit, the room that you're all in with, there's a real sort of community, sort of
really nice
and helping each other out, and really sort of convivial atmosphere. And
it's like today we didn't realise our fire show was at 12 o'clock. We thought it was stilts, so we were like panicking, and bless one of the other performers.
Bam.
Yeah.
Okay.
She turned around and was like, "Do you want to swap so you get an extra 15 minutes?" So we were like, it was lovely. I mean, she didn't have to, so then she had to rush to get ready 15 minutes earlier. But
because I assume if something like that, you've got to prepare. You can't rush
so prepping the amount of equipment we had and stuff. I mean, it was we've worked like non-stop all weekend, so we're running on little energy and fuel. So brain cells have decreased. So
brain cells are definitely popped.
And once this weekend's over, and you go, what do you do to sort of then switch off? Because it's been quite intense.
I don't think we do.
You don't.
Go straight into, so I have to train, I have to like costume in, organise it.
I mean, granted, tonight we are going to go and have a few drinks in Manchester.
We're going to go get very drunk.
Yes.
But then we both got to be up early tomorrow, so I've got a photo shoot tomorrow in Birmingham at 12.
Really? Christ.
I head to London tomorrow to go in, do some choreography and performance work with another friend of mine.
And is that for a show?
For a festival in September.
Okay, and you're choreographing a dance?
A fire show. Another fire show, yeah.
Oh, right, okay. So and you're going to do a photo shoot.
Yeah.
And what's that for? Is it?
It's just so there's a girl called Monica who's from Birmingham, and I've met her doing various events around Birmingham, and I love her photography style. Okay. She's amazing. And we just never had the free time to shoot like the same time. So for years we've been trying to.
And now finally.
So finally, like, got a day, and I was like, oh, it's such a busy weekend. Like, 'cause I've been non-stop since I haven't been home since Wednesday morning.
Yeah.
But it's going to be nice to we finally get it done and actually have a nice little.
And will there be a makeup artist there?
Yeah, so I've just got to go with like base, and then she's going to do the rest. So
it's nice having your makeup done, isn't it? That's where
just sit there. I can have a sleep.
Yeah,
do my makeup.
Well, I've been very lucky to get you two today to come on the show. So thank you for giving me your time, because you're just doing so much. Thanks for coming on, and I'll make sure all your details will be on the iTunes biog, and we'll go. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
You've been listening to Funny Peculiar. Tune in next week. More great guests.